In September, on our first trip to the Arctic, we flew an hour and a half north of Fairbanks, a big city in the middle of Alaska. The snow-capped mountains disappeared behind us, and the land flattened out. Finally, Barrow appeared out of nowhere in a vast world of watery tundra. The northernmost city in the United States, Barrow lies 375 miles, 600 kilometers, above the Arctic Circle, on the edge of the Chukchi Sea. Barrow is not a place you can reach by road. Everything must arrive by ship or plane. There was not a chunk of ice in the gray-green sea. A dusting of snow flew across the runway. The pearl sky was cold and raw. Shep and I were like little kids. We were so excited when Alaska Airlines set us down on the north slope of Alaska, an area encompassing 89,000 square miles. Shep, I discovered quickly, is a man with boundless energy and a great deal of knowledge about the Arctic. He holds positions in 2 departments at Purdue University: Earth and Atmospheric Science and Chemistry. He is also the founder and director of the Purdue Climate Change Research Center. His passion for this seemingly bleak and icy place called the Arctic infuses his every sentence. Previously, Shep had worked in the Canadian Arctic and in the middle of the Greenland Glacier. He had now come to Barrow to help 3 of his graduate students set up a number of experiments they would conduct this winter. He and I also wanted to learn how climate change might be affecting the indigenous people called the INupiaq. They have been hunting whales and other Arctic animals for thousands of years. We wanted to talk to them about their culture to understand climate change from a human perspective. Barrow. Scientists like Shep have been coming to Barrow to study the Arctic since the mid-19th century, long before science recognized the threat of global climate change. One of those early investigations was to dig down into the year-round frozen Earth, called permafrost, to find out how deep it was. It took the diggers 2 years to dig 37 feet, 12 meters. At that time in Barrow, the permafrost was 1,000 feet, 300 meters, deep in places. Much of the permafrost is still very deep. But because of the warming trend, in summer, the surface thaws farther down than before. In fact, some of the underground ice cellars, about 12 feet, 4 meters deep, are beginning to melt. For centuries, the INupiaq have used these cellars to keep their whale blubber frozen during the summers. Wedged between the Beaufort Sea and the Bering Sea, Barrow has about 5,000 residents, just over half of whom are INupiaq. Known traditionally in the INupiaq language as Ukpeagwik, or place where the snowy owls are hunted, Barrow is the largest of the 8 INupiaq communities on the north slope of Alaska. Here, the INupiaq Eskimos still carry on their native traditions and hunt whales, caribou, walrus, seals, moose, and birds. But when we landed, we saw satellite dishes flanking crude box houses painted in many pastel colors. Backyards were jammed with boats, motors, and snowmobiles. Caribou hides were stretched out on racks to dry. It seemed like a strange mixture of modern and ancient life. Today, the INupiaq travel on 4-wheelers in summer and snowmobiles in winter. Gone are the dog sled days. Eskimos surf the internet with high-speed satellite connections, yet they also come together to celebrate their traditions. Whales are still at the center of their culture. The INupiaq believe that when a whale is caught, it has given itself to them as a gift. They are the people of the whale. An Arctic Science Station. Shep and I bunked in scientists' quarters just north of town at the old U.S. Navy base, now the Barrow Arctic Science Consortium, known simply as BASC, a sort of clearinghouse for scientists working in the Arctic. BASC helps scientists conduct their research, and it encourages a 2-way transfer of information between scientists and the INupiaq.